back to News Talk, where it's 15 before the hour, and time now for our Friday Focus on You, health and fitness this time, and some advice on how not to fall off the exercise bandwagon with the arrival of autumn. Joseph Brandenburg is a personal trainer. He owns True 180 Fitness in the district, and he's a contributor to WTOP.com and ActiveLife.com. Welcome back.
Good to be back.
Part of our Friday Focus on You rotation is Joseph. Good to have you here. Your focus this time is on the change of season. We're coming out of a season where it's warm, the days are long, ample opportunity, maximum opportunity to do things particularly that involve outdoors, you know, jogging, biking, yoga after work in the park, whatever. We're transitioning into fall where our life patterns change and where the days start to get shorter. So help us navigate this change of season.
Okay, so I mean, this is like a natural time of year to sort of get back into it, all of the disruptions from summer and all the travel, because those things really disrupt your schedule. So this is a great opportunity because we don't have like, you know, a big stretch of travel or holidays usually until Thanksgiving for most people. So this represents like almost 3 months to sort of get into a regular rhythm. That's also an extremely important time to focus on your fitness and nutrition and the other things that are important for taking care of your body, because what you do now or what you don't do now is going to set you up for success or failure, you know, come the holiday season.
You're a believer in establishing a repeatable, a frequency of working out that can become a pattern, can become something that is really ingrained in let's say, the 7-day rhythm path, the rhythm of your life.
Yeah, so I mean, the research on you know, exercise effectiveness, frequency is a lot more important than the duration of the workout. So doing, you know, a shorter workout more often that sort of hits everything is going to give you much better results than going in and, you know, working out for an hour and a half, 2 hours less often, because that's very hard to fit into your schedule. So the more often you work out, the better it works.
Especially if you can prioritize it, if you can say, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, whatever, you know, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, whatever works for you. Regularize that within your week. Make it a priority, and then stick to it as much as life allows, right?
Absolutely.
You talk about a fall cleaning. What's the fall cleaning a concept?
So, you know, over the course of summertime, people tend to just accumulate a lot of stuff in their house that they know that they shouldn't be eating, and you know, no one needs to make their life any more difficult by living with additional temptation. So right now is also a great time. You're back from summer. You're not like, you know, traveling every week, to go into your house and go into your kitchen and just get rid of the stuff that does not support you, because, you know, soon enough at work you're going to have, you know, Halloween Oreos and whatever else staring you in the face, so you just don't need any more temptation in your life.
In some ways, the period we're entering, the fall period, is from a weather perspective better than summer, right? When it's 90, 95, approaching 100,
right,
it can be tough to get out and do exercise that you can sustain. The days of fall may be more tailor-made for a nice long bike ride, a nice long run, whatever it is.
Yeah, there's like pros and cons with the fall weather. Like it's nicer weather, so you're not going to get heat stroke or feel like you're going to pass out by just sort of doing a little bit of exercise. So you can work out more intensely outdoors, which is nice. There's the other sort of challenge with fall is that as the days get shorter, you just have less sunlight. So sort of there comes a point for many people that the outdoor stuff is just something they're not going to do in the dark. So there's sort of like you kind of have to ride that wave.
You work with folks who get their exercise in before work, and you work with people who come after work. What do you notice about those two groups? Is one group more successful, more committed to what they're doing than the other? How does it work here in Washington, where people's work days can be pretty long?
You know, it's hard to make like a blanket statement about that, but if I was going to I would say the people who do it before work. Now, then let me say there's plenty of people who also are very successful doing it after work, but I would say the people who do it before work, because for many of them, you know, you're a parent, you've got a job with some unpredictable, you know, aspects to it. You get that done first, and then it doesn't matter. The rest of your day is successful. Whatever pops up at work, it happens. I mean, but for everyone in the morning, it gets a little harder to wake up earlier because it's dark outside, and for everyone after work, it gets a little harder to, you know, if you work, go home, then go work out, that becomes more difficult. And for a lot of people, they are more successful if they go work, workout, home.
You talk about bumping up the intensity. How do you do that, and what results can one get if you're able to, as you say, bump up the intensity?
Bump up the intensity. So pretty much whatever you're doing, the colder weather is going to allow you to work out more intensely. One of the biggest things that actually that makes you exhausted and tired is overheating. So, I mean, that's why your body sweats, is to, in order to get rid of heat. And there's only so much heat that your body can get rid of. So this cooler weather will just allow you to run faster, potentially run up hills or do stair sprints, or if you're cycling, to try to see, how far could I sprint with this, or, how high of a hill can I climb.
A lot of us have long-term goals. We're training for something like a marathon. If we're elite or semi-elite athlete, where we've got some weight loss goals. These are long-term. Short-term goals, if you can achieve them, get us to the long-term. Right? Talk about your real belief in short-term fitness and nutrition goals.
So basically, you take your hey, a year from now, you want to lose 50 pounds or whatever it is. You just sort of break that down into quarters. Seem to work pretty well for people because it's sort of within a month. I mean, you can accomplish something. There's not that much that you can accomplish.
So by quarter, you mean quarter of a year,
3 months.
like a kind of a 90-day, 90-day, 90-day.
Yeah, that seems to be sort of a really good span of time that works for people. So, if your expectation is, not your expectation, but if your goal is we're going to do this in 12 months, well, where do you need to be in 3 months from now, 3 months after that, 3 months after that? So that's the outcome goal. The outcome goal, I would say, is of secondary importance to the process goal, because at the end of the day, it is the behaviors in the process that are going to get you any outcome that you want anyway. I mean, you need to have both, but you really don't need to focus on the process. I mean, on the outcome, you need to focus on the process, because people will very often get preoccupied with, I'm not losing as much weight as I want to lose or whatever, and that will distract them from, well, look, let's get more focused on what are you eating, what are you doing with your body, because that's where the results come from. So keep your focus on what you're doing.
And the flip side of that is that short-term goals can be attained if you have the right plan and can summon the right motivation. And having tasted success, it makes future success that much more likely.
Yeah.
I know you see that on a regular
Absolutely.
basis.
Yeah, there's 13 weeks in a quarter, so if you're supposed to work out 3 times a week, then that needs to be 39 workouts that you get done. So you got to focus on that process, and you got to be checking that off on your to-do list over that quarter. And nutrition-wise, if you're only going to eat dessert once a week, you got to make sure that you're keeping that to once a week.
You mentioned nutrition at the outset. Was there anything else in that? Because we've been talking a lot about fitness. Is there anything else in the nutrition area? Not a lot of time left that you wanted to maybe spotlight or raise up for people.
For many people, a very, very simple and extremely effective way in order to keep their intake in line with their goals is to have defined meal times. For most people, that seems to be about 3 times a day. That keeps you from sort of aimlessly snacking, just because looking at food, especially if it's hyper palatable food designed to be really tasty and consumed a lot, that just looking at it makes you hungry. So you'll sort of be confused about your body's telling you you're hungry. It's not really hungry. It's more like it's this sort of fancy marketing trick that it's playing on your brain. You're not hungry.
So defined meal times can be a real plus.
Exactly.
3, maybe 4 a day.
Yeah.
Not the constant grazing.
But you got to pick a number and stick to it. You can't just sort of fluctuate up and down.
Joseph Brandenburg, part of our Friday Focus on You rotation. Thank you, sir. Back with the program note after this.